Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tolmen Financial educational series known as The Millionaire in the Mirror. And today we've got a special topic we're going to dive right into the 401k and where it is today. So we're going to talk about some information that's been recently put out there. Is the 401k cracked? So the 401k, how good is it after 40 years? Well, back on October 19th, 2009, Time magazine put out this article and actually put the cover, made it their cover as why it's time to retire the 401k and what you can do about it. So even back then, a major magazine of its time, I know we don't read a lot of magazines now, but they felt it necessary to try to get it out there that the 401k, maybe was an experiment in the beginning when it started in 1978 and came to more popularity when our federal government kind of put some more guidelines on it in 1981, and that's where it started to kind of grow. And then of course we had pensions that got converted to a 401k, which in my eyes left the employer off the hook and put the employee at risk, because now no guaranteed monthly income down the road, and you'll see some of the other disadvantages that they have. So let's talk about this, and this is from Fox Business, and they got this from Empower. So as we look at the average of each age group, you can see that, and we have a lot of people that are making really good money and have higher amounts. But when we look at people in their 20s, they've got just under $100,000 with a median of about 37,000. And I think maybe that will go up a little bit as we see more and more employers doing an automatic enrollment into the 401k, which is helping because you just can't get those years back. So as we scroll down, we see in their 40s 392 with a median of 158, but in their 60s it seems to have dropped. Now the experts think that they started spending their money already. I just think that they were not involved in the very beginning of the 401k, and just those couple years, and it may have been 5 to 10 years that they weren't contributing, made a big difference on where they were. So as you can see, people in their 60s have an average or a median of 188,000, which is kind of what I see in my practice. So let's take a look at some other statistics. And let's listen to him talk. This was from last week.
Walzer Wealth Management President Rebecca Walzer. Rebecca, I mean, listen, you manage money for folks, I guess typically a little wealthier, but everyone has a 401k. Everyone was made promises by the 401k. Let's talk about where it all went wrong.
So the 401k came out in the Revenue Act of 78, Charles, and it came out as an addition to the golden parachute and the pension. That
it was designed initially for a niche group of people.
Highly compensated executives that would be assumed to have professional money management. And it was basically rolled out through a consulting company, not intended for how it was used, and no professional money management, kind of a do-it-yourself plan, no mathematical testing, no regression analysis to see if it would actually be able to replace the pension system.
Who came up with the bright idea that it should replace the pension system?
Well, it was in the Revenue Act of 78, but a benefit company named Johnson Company basically.
Okay. So you may need to play that back a couple times. I know I've played it back many times, but the Revenue Act of 1978 kind of paved the way to be able to offer this type of program. It was designed for the highly compensated. It was never designed for the average worker, because there needs to be someone helping them pick those allocations and figure out what risk ratio that that each investor wants to have. Because as you get closer to retirement, you may not want to have as much of your money at risk. So it was designed for those highly compensated. It was designed as a bonus, to try to retain those employees. And it gave them their golden parachute, which is when you get, let go or fired, or a company wants to go a different direction, you're usually very well taken care of. And that's why they call that the golden parachute, which helps you on your way down, I guess. So again, they were assumed to have money managers, people that would already help, that are already helping them, and we just don't have that outside of the highly compensated. So even she said it's a do-it-yourself type program because it was added to their pension. So they already had a pension set up, which was going to guarantee them an income, and now this would be added to that to help supplement those highly compensated. It was never intended to replace pensions, but companies saw this as an opportunity. Pensions are very expensive to keep in force, and this was a way, hey, we can push the pensions over into this 401k, give them a little bit of a match, which a lot of companies have gone away from, and then we can actually show more profit for our company. And many companies have now pushed the fees off to the employees, and the employees don't even know it. So you have fees being added to the employee side, which was supposed to be taken care of by the employer. And now we've replaced the pensions. So people are walking around without any guidance from anyone, trying to pick those allocations themselves. And if you've ever looked at the prospectus on the whole 401k plan where you work, it's probably a couple inches thick and very complicated for any of us to read. So let's hear what in addition they had to say.
Where do we go from here then? I mean, it's one of these things where...
One thing that I noticed is that basically you saw that if you contributed with no growth, you were going to have over 800,000, and the average for 65-year-old was only 500,000. So not only are they not contributing enough, but there are also losses.
Under your mattress and not having any compounding or any help at all, opposed to the actual amounts, the average amounts in that 401k, which now value 500,000. So what she's saying is, as an average, people have maybe put in $800,000 total into their 401k or into the savings vehicle, 401k, 403b, whatever. And now it doesn't even have as much in it as what they've put in it. And then we get to add that the 401k is 100% taxable. So in this scenario, even if you broke even if you put this money in a mattress and the 401k account was still the same amount, let's say 800,000 in their 401k or 800,000 in your mattress, you make out much better putting the money in your mattress because it's not taxable. There's no government control. There's no rules on when you can take it out or when you have to start taking it out. So that was a huge statement, and we really need to pay attention to what's going on with the 401k. So here again, it shows you that with no growth, the 65-year-old average would have had $800,000. If it really would have done 8% growth, that person would have over $6 million. I'm telling you right now, and I know this is highly compensated because these people are putting in $23,500, and then their employer match. So they're putting in about $30,000 a year that last 10 years, especially. But listen to me, they're not getting that kind of return because now we've got expense factors, and we've also got market downturns over the years that have really eaten away at that 401k. So the other thing you have to realize too is that you get to have that partner tagging along with you, and he's pulling on every dollar that comes out of that plan. So, and we don't know what that tax rate's going to be down the road. So is the 401k cracked? You make your own decisions, but you've got market risk, which can take your account down. Everybody remembers 2008, and it took 10 to 12 years for people just to get back to where they were, because on a 40% loss, that takes a long time to get back to where you were. There's no help with any of your allocations. Nobody's helping you figure out picking your stocks, and they don't want to. Those plan administrators who are setting up the plan for you, they don't want to be involved because they're afraid if it doesn't perform that you could come back on them. So they want no part of helping you. There's also no help from your HR department or the plan administration, of course, with helping you plan your whole retirement. You shouldn't put all your eggs in that 401k basket. You should have multiple income streams so that you can count on one of them maybe doing better than another, but you should also have a non-taxable income stream, whether it's through the Roth or through a program that we like to use, our life pension. So also you have no guaranteed income like the pensions had. So you're standing there hoping the market does well. And as you get closer to retirement, when you have the most money, you actually start pulling back on maybe the things that could make a higher interest rate, because you don't want the risk. And that's the point where you really should be pushing forward and maybe investing even more heavily, in something that can earn you and compound more interest. And then we already talked about the fees that are now involved. So Judd, here I am. I see what you're saying. And you honestly need to be your own advocate. And there's a lot of talk about fiduciary. You need to be your own fiduciary. I don't want Uncle Sam as a partner, and I get it. I mean, for someone just to take money from you, I know we have to pay taxes, but I think we've seen where that tax money isn't going to the best places, and there's a lot of people getting rich when they really shouldn't be off of our hard work. So here's my recommendation: fire your partner. Uncle Sam is just a big money grab in that 401k program. I mean, we are already paying income tax anyway, and now they're going to put their hand in the 401k money bag and grab money out. People don't understand this next point. When you have separation of service, when you leave a job, number one, do not cash in that 401k, because you just lost however many years that you had in the program, which is going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars at the other end when you look at how money grows and compounds. So if you change jobs, you have separation of service, take that money out and put it into an IRA. You're not going to get taxed. And now you can control or have someone help you control that portion of the 401k. So you can go find help and find someone that can help you, make sure that it's heading in the right direction instead of using the allocations that were left to you from the previous employer. And then if you can put some of that money in a safe place, you can stay more aggressive in your plan going forward as you contribute. Contribute up to the match, but look for alternatives for the extra contributions. So if your company's doing a 4% match, do the match. There's no way that anybody can give you 100% on your money guaranteed in 1 year. So you need to do up to the match, but please look at other ways to make contributions for your retirement above that match. So if you're putting in 4 and your company's putting in 4, that's 8% going into a taxable vehicle that at some point is going to be 100% taxable to you. So, Judd, where can I do what program can work for me then? So we have an alternative, and if it could do all this, I think people would be more interested, but it's not out there, just like the 401k wasn't back in the early 80s. And it needs to grab some traction because I think it's so much more valuable. So you would have no 59.5 rule, so that you would have access to those funds in case that emergency arises, like the pandemic, so that you could get at that and not pay taxes. So there's no tax on the accumulation, just like the 401k. So that thing's going to grow and grow and grow, but no tax on the distribution. So when you go to take money out of this plan, you are not going to have to worry about what tax bracket you're in, or if that's going to push you over the limit for your Social Security to be taxed or anything like that. It's your plan, and there's no government control or nobody like Uncle Sam telling you what you have to do. No mandatory distribution. So you don't have to at some point start taking money out of this. And you can choose how much you want. Let's say you want to start out at $1,000 a month, but you could have taken two, but you don't need it yet. Well, let that life pension grow and then take out more in the future. Also, no penalties for not taking out enough money, like that 401k. You have to start taking money out at 73, and after 2030, probably it'll be 75. No Secure Act. Many people don't understand what that is. In 2020, the Secure Act says that you get a spousal exemption. So your 401k will flow to a spouse without any taxation. But then when it goes to the next generation, they have 10 years in which to deplete that account fully, or they will get hit with, they change it from half or 50% of what they should have taken to 25%, because that's a big number. And with the 401ks that I see approaching $600 to $1 million, if you have one or two children, that's a hefty penalty for anybody as they go forward. Tax-free lump sum to the beneficiary. So this plan would actually, from day one, have a benefit that would blossom and be paid to the beneficiary without any taxation, and for the rest of the life of the plan. So what kind of plan can do all that? It's a properly designed. It's got to be designed properly, or it's not going to do all those things that I said. Not many financial people know how to design it. They set it up just as a normal life insurance program, but it has to be designed to fit your specific needs, and it has to be max funded. So you have to be pushing as much money into that policy as you can per thousand of life insurance. And it is an indexed universal life, or IUL. We like to call it our Tolmen Financial Life Pension. If you need more information, here's my contact. So Judd at tolmenfinancial.com, and there's my phone number. And this is part of the Millionaire in the Mirror series. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Tolmen Financial, and we'll be happy to help you. So that's it in a nutshell. Very quick presentation, but you really have got to understand how this 401k is working and how it's working against you in many cases. So do your research. Don't take it from some strange guy on the internet. Do your own research. Look up that Fox video. You can Google in YouTube or search in YouTube and look up Fox Business 401 Cracked Egg, and that will come up. And watch the whole thing, because there's a lot more information in there that's vital to your financial future. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again.